What's up, guys? Marvel Madness here and Sin City Cards. What's up,
Welcome
Alex?
everybody. What's
And
up, my friend? What's up, man?
hey, another day, another night of our Marvel Bros episode 3, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Episode 3 and many more to come, man, but we're making milestones here, so
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, I wanted to introduce our guest for the evening. As a lot of you know, he goes by PancakeAnalytics, and he's my boy Tom. Let's bring him on. What's up, Tom?
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, man, thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
on board.
Yeah. So how was your week, Tom?
Busy week with work and then the side nighttime gig of analytics for Marvel trading cards, Comic Cons, you name it.
Nice. Hey, how about we do this? Just give a little background to the viewers and all that stuff of who you are and what you kind of do. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I'm a 10 plus years experience data scientist. Currently work for a marketing firm specializing in targeting, personalization, A/B testing, so incremental impact. I got the crazy idea. It was 4 years, going on 5 years soon now, to try to apply this to comics. Um, it didn't start with cards first; that'll come later. But got approval from the family to do it. I was like, we go to a lot of Comic Cons. I want to give some value back there. Let's see how we get into them. First year, I thought like, well, I'm not going to get into anything, so we were just mooning the pie stuff, like, oh, here's Toronto Comic Con. Let's try to get in there. Our local ones in Orlando, Tampa. We ended up getting accepted into everything. It's like, okay, so are we actually going to go to Toronto? We did. It was a packed room, and surprisingly, most people were there for data science for that panel. Like I opened up the panel, like, okay, people in the room, like, raise your hand. Are you here for? I think it was a Pokemon panel. Was my first one. Who's here for Pokemon? Like, a quarter of the room raised their hand. So I'm looking at my partner, who I brought in case, like, oh, I'm going to bore them with data. And he's a video game developer. And then, like, this was supposed to be like a joke question. So, like, okay, who's here for data science? And like the entire room, like, raised their hand. I'm just like,
Wow.
Very nice. That's awesome.
what are we getting into?
Yeah.
So then Comic Cons, traveling, we did that for a year. And then the pandemic hit. Like, okay, now we're stuck at home. What do we do? So I just kept focusing on the Instagram page. Got into trading cards some more. There's great apps like we were having a side chat before the show, Card Ladder, Market Movers. Now, like, the data is readily available. You no longer have to try to do your own queries in eBay. I do have API calls I can make myself into eBay through Terapeak, but those apps make it much smoother. So now most of my time is just building trading card forecast, Marvel to Pokemon to sports, and then just waiting for Comic-Con season to start again. For me, that's in January. So hopefully expanding to New Orleans. Trying to come more your way, Josh. It's
No,
taking a while.
you're good. You're
Slowly
good,
getting
dude.
there.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, quick shout outs. We got our boy TBC Breaks out there. What's up, Nathan? We got Jeffrey Shea. What's up, Jeff? How's it going, man? And then we got Armando. Victor, what's up, dude? Hey, did anybody see Victor's post today? He opened a blaster box and he pulled a comic cut. It
Wow.
was sick.
I did not. I got to check that out.
Pretty awesome.
Very nice. Very nice.
We got Dan on here, Mr. Collector, and Swami. What's up? There's some
What's up,
Pokemon
Swami?
love, but he's more into Marvel now.
We also
He
got
likes Marvel a
Lonzo.
lot more.
What's up, Lonzo?
And Alonzo. Nice.
Very nice.
So good to have everybody. Appreciate it, guys. Sorry we're a little late, but yeah, it is what it is. We're kind of a new show right now, so we're just trying to
No excuses.
work out the kinks. I guess not. No excuses, I guess. Sorry, Sin. I apologize. It's my fault.
No worries, man. No
You can
worries.
blame me. But I think tonight we are going to start off first off with some mail. And then we'll talk about that and talk about why we picked some up. And then, man, I don't know. Maybe Tom has some mail. I have no clue what he picked up recently, but we'll get into some of that, and then we'll just have a great time.
Awesome.
So, how about you start us off? You're all ready to go. Looks like.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay.
Go ahead, make me big there. All right. It's sweet, man. So this has been, and maybe Tom, you could let me bring over my mic here. Maybe you could maybe shed some light on this. I'm not sure. I know you said Comic-Con, but the Wizards have been talked about a lot lately. And this is Wizard number 9. Obviously, I wanted to get this copy, but more so for the fact that it's a newsstand. You don't find very many of these out there. Very nice copy here, but I've heard so much from other influencers out there that are talking about Wizard and Wizard making a comeback. So I don't know if you have any kind of like thoughts on that. If you had heard anything on the Wizard side.
Yeah, I mean their convention in Chicago was one of the first ones I used to go to as a kid. So we grew up in Brooklyn, so Chicago wasn't too far of a family trip for us. But Wizard, I've been picking up like Wizard promos, like trying to go backtrack a little bit because of the hype that's around Wizard now. So it's good to see like them come back. I know we were talking about like some analytics apps earlier. Like just talk about people I'd like to see come back is like Beckett. Like come back with the price guides, guy.
Yeah.
Like, take your throne back.
Yeah, I mean, because before Wizard was basically it, right? It was that's what you had in the comic book world. You had Wizard, and that's how you kind of looked up your pricing and kind of went from there, right?
I swear, every year after age like 13, and I got that first 1993 Wolverine hologram. I always every year was checking it to see where it went. It's like, where's it at now? Where's it at now? When I was a kid, because I was like so excited. It was only a $50 card, and it probably stayed a $50 card for 30 years.
Yeah.
Probably still is a $30 $50 card, but the graded ones are a lot more, and that's kind of where it's kind of shifted and changed a bit for me.
So next thing that I picked up was this right here, this bad boy. So those out there who don't know, this is Admiral Thrawn. Admiral Thrawn has been mentioned by Ahsoka in the Mandalorian series. This is the 2021 Star Wars Galaxy Chrome Purple. So there's only 25 of these. I was real close to getting the Alpha. I'm sorry, the Omega. But anyways, there's the purples that are out of 25. There's the X-Fractors that are out of 10. And then there's the reds that are out of 5. Reason why I picked this up is because I have I don't have it close by, but I have Heir to the Empire #1, which is the first appearance of Admiral Thrawn. So I believe that this guy is going to be the next Darth Vader. That's just my opinion. I'm not a professional. I'm not a spec player, but I think that that this is going to be the next Darth Vader. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing that Ahsoka series next year when he comes out. I know he's coming, so that was a good pickup there. Peach Momoko, a sick 1-in-100 ratio. Dr. Doom on the cover, nasty. This just recently came out. You had to get 100 retail issues to get one of these. So
don't let Doom Card see that.
Yeah, is he in here?
No, I don't think so. But
yeah, but
you might be watching later.
Sick cover. These recently just came out, but again, these are the 1 in 100, so they're not very easily picked up. Retailers and local comic shops are going to have to buy 100 issues of the base, like the cover A model, to get one of these. So I had to pick one of those up.
Alonzo said that foil looks cool on that one other Star Wars card. So
yeah.
Hey, what's up? What's up? I need a shout out. What's up, Kellen? How's it going? He's my nephew. He's watching.
This right here, I picked this up because obviously Venom. This is the first appearance of Gwenom when Gwen Stacy becomes Gwenom. So basically, this is the reason why I picked it up. Second reason I picked up this one. This is the second print. If you go to the census, there's a ton of the first prints, not very many of this, and I'm going to end up cracking this and sending it to CGC. Just because it's going to be more rare as far as the census count. So that's why I picked that one up. That's what I'm basically looking for any modern stuff out there. I'm looking for lower pop stuff.
Okay.
In my opinion, the Ultimate Fallout 4 has, correct me if I'm wrong, close to 3,000 9/8, where if the second print has, I think, less than 1,000 or just at 1,000 as far as the 9/8 go. Picked up this bad girl right here. Tom, you don't know this. Marvel Madness does, but my PC is Black Cat. And
yeah, part of it is.
Nice.
Yep. And this is the first appearance of Black Cat, Amazing Spider-Man 194. Picked it up because it's a newsstand right here. And then this right here is what I loved about it as well. So CGC, if you can see that, is now putting newsstand edition on their blue labels.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, right there in the middle. They're putting that now in the blue label. So this is freshly from CGC with that on there, and I had to pick it up. It was a steal. Book's going for about 500, and I got it well below that.
Yes, Marvelous Packs, you are right. We are not financial advisors, nor we're gonna give you financial advice on any of these pickups at all. Pure opinion. Okay, guys. We have a little bit of facts, but we're not backing that stuff up with facts right now.
And then last but not least, because I'm just all about Doom right now, this is the 1 in 25 Doom cover, the Coker variant, the 9/8 for the Secret Wars. It has been rumored that the Secret Wars that's coming out in 2025 with the MCU is going to revolve around the Alex Ross Secret Wars and not the Secret Wars that you see back here. So who knows? We might see God Emperor Doom and not just a regular Doom, but more of a cosmic style Secret Wars would make sense for the modern times. So. And that's it, my friends.
That's it, huh?
That's it. I got some other goodies, and just to let everybody know, I just ended up winning a very special package that's going to be arriving this week that revolves around that back there. So I'll keep it a secret, and I'll open it next week.
Okay.
Good stuff.
I'll see if I can set up my camera real quick. I'm gonna pop myself out here real quick. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
So, Tom, you are more so into comics, right? As far as the analytics go.
Yeah, more into comics. We done video games too. A lot of that. It's kind of what drives it is really what I can get unique data sets on. So what I've been playing around with comics recently is actually taking the metadata for like DC and Justice to like normalize power levels, and then I leverage Twitter data for different polls to try and predict like, okay, how many votes they would get. Same thing with Marvel. I've done it with Contest of Champions. It's just an easier way than trying to like Google search and see like, okay, who was written the best and what's your power levels. So it helps out there a lot. Sales data, really, I've only done for trading cards.
Okay.
I get some requests to do the comic side of it too. Um, I would love if there was more transparency into like who's buying this stuff, because mostly it's probably going to be a lot of overlap. You know, it'd be
Yeah.
really interesting to see if like comics could be a good indicator of cards or which one triggers which one first.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
it's probably comics.
Yeah. I mean, we got to think about it. And I just realized this. We're talking about trying to track sales and all that stuff. I've noticed that with comics, and I'm sure this probably happens, or maybe not, hasn't happened yet. But with comics, I've noticed on IG, there's a lot of live claim sales that don't get recorded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of whatnot sales out there. How can that be recorded, right? So
Yeah.
right now, basically all we have, I mean, even my slabs, no one's tracking my slabs in that network. So all we really have is maybe Golden, maybe Heritage Auctions, maybe PWCC, and then eBay, right?
Yep.
To go by
Lots
comps.
lots don't get tracked well either.
Yeah.
Like all those golden lots of PMGs, they're not being tracked in the apps. They don't break it down individually.
Yeah. Very, very true.
You know,
I didn't think of that. Lots and stuff. That throws it off too, doesn't it?
No,
yeah.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
good point about whatnot too. Like you see, whatnot comps are a whole different world because you got the little bounties, the games they play. It's like wow, mystery lots or mystery slabs.
Yeah, mystery boxes and mystery packs and all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, it's just impossible to track. There's just no clear way of doing it right now. So
Yeah, like recently on whatnot, it hasn't come in yet, but I ended up winning a pink low series or no, sorry, high series Spider-Man 2099
very nice.
from the metal set. And it was just in a giveaway. Random
Nice.
luck. So
Nice.
no comp on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I heard, and I'm not sure if this is still coming out, but I thought eBay was doing some sort of a whatnot style live
Yeah.
platform. So, when they start doing that, I'm sure eBay will be able to track that stuff and you'll be able to see those sales. Maybe. I mean, we've been doing it so far with eBay, so I would imagine we'd be able to implement that with their system.
Yeah. And it's all unfortunately listing like title based too.
Yeah.
Which is if they don't put it exactly how you have to track it or your query, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Or, you bring in a bunch of junk too that shouldn't be there.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point because a lot of people there just put, auction 1, auction 2, auction 3, and you obviously don't know what's being tracked there or sold. So,
Yeah. Imagine like you're just trying to get into it. Okay, let me track Spider-Man sales. And you think like that's easy. And then it's like every Spider-Man character, they throw Spider-Man in the title.
yeah.
Like, oh,
Sweet.
Ready to rock and roll, Josh?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, man. Let's see it.
So, just a little bit of background. So, I took my son last September, or just a couple months ago, to the Comic Con Salt Lake. It's called Fan X Comic Con, or it's called Fan X here in Salt Lake. Fan X Salt Lake, and it's the Comic Con here in Salt Lake. The last couple of years, I've taken him, and this last time I was the only thing that we found were some comics and maybe some blaster boxes that were like $75 a piece. Like that's all the Marvel cards that we found at the little convention we went. But I ran into some comics that I later picked up on eBay. They wanted too much at the Comic Con, but it at least put it in my mind. And it's just some Wolverine covers that I picked up. I wanted to show people. So this is Wolverine 303. This is the 300 series to like 306 or 307 or something. This is 306.
Very nice.
And I wasn't too excited about these, but these just came in the lot with it. This is 309. They really don't mean much to me other than these ones here that start right here. So this one right here, if you guys don't know, it actually has a card that is like this. And the card that matches it, it's up in my I just couldn't find it tonight, but I have all the other cards with me. But this is like a canvas version. So what I talked about earlier is picking up a card to comic. And that's kind of what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to grade and slab the comic with the actual card and make them so it matches up. One of my favorite artists is Adam Kubert, as you'll see. A lot of these are Adam Kubert. I just love his Wolverine renditions. But this next one, I wanted to show you this. So this cover here, if you guys recognize the artwork, they actually made in 2013, they actually made a card
Retro.
that was from the Marvel Fleer Retro, like from this cover. It was pretty sick. I didn't ever know that until I found this at the last Comic-Con that I went to with my boy. So it was pretty cool.
So I'm gonna go on a limb and say that you're gonna get those slabbed up, both of them.
Well, of course. So this one here, it's a kind of unique one. So we got right here, we got a Marvel Beginnings 2012. And I already had that slabbed. I actually bought this for $30 off of ComC when the hype was going on. And this is an old PSA slab that I picked up, and it was a steal. Like at that time, you couldn't even get any subs for about that price, because that was right after they picked up and they said they were going to charge $100 or something like that to submit cards. So I got that comic card now to do. Pretty awesome. I got a duplicate of this because I picked up two versions, two lots of the Wolverines. And then I got this one here. So you got the 2015 Fleer Retro of Wolverine.
Yep.
With this Wolverine cover, Wolverine 301.
95 metal insert.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where they got that, was that cover. So it was pretty awesome there. And then we have the infamous Arthur Adams right there. Now, do you know what card this actually, there's another card that they actually put this art on. Do you know which one that is?
No.
I have no idea.
So it's the Marvel 75th anniversary. It's that a gold border Wolverine. It has the same coloring and all that stuff as this one here. And then it has the gold border around it. I don't have that one. I have yet to pick that one up. So the only one I have is this Arthur Adams. It's still from 2013 Fleer Retro insert. So
nice. So I wanted to get a comment in real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Says, do you have any merch? That's a great question. We should start coming up with some ideas for merch.
I have this hat right here.
Yeah, there you go.
My own merch. But we don't have anything together, so we'll have to figure something out on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We could do that. And then I just have one more pickup in that video that I don't know if you guys saw with Swami and Cool Cards, Michael Salter, over the rookie card, rookie versus first appearance. You guys probably both saw that.
Yep.
We were talking about the very first Wolverine card that had been numbered, and I actually thought it was this other card, but then Michael actually said, I think there was a movie one. So I guess I was right and he was right, because the very first card that was numbered was the card that I mentioned on the actual on the actual video, but there was actually a movie one that is with Hugh Jackman, and that's this one right here, and it was numbered to 600.
Cool.
Very
And
cool.
this card was back in 2009, and I believe the card that I found was back 2011. So, yeah, pretty cool. But this is Rittenhouse. It was like one of those. What do you call that box topper type thing? I think.
Yep.
So,
The
yeah,
box toppers.
exactly. So that's what I got for my pickups. So nothing huge, but I just wanted to show, the whole comic to card thing's gonna go. It's gonna come to. It's definitely gonna be a thing. I think.
No, absolutely. With CGC now grading Marvel cards and how good they look with the blue labels matching the comic label, it's gonna be nice to be able to pair those up. So let's get to some comments here. Another one. Looks like it's a thing now. Do you ship merch to Australia? Not yet. Not yet. Mixed up.
We got to get the merch first.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
All right. So that was the mail call. Basically, let's jump into some stuff with Tom. See what Tom has to say about some interesting topics, what he's working on, and kind of enlighten us a little bit about the analytics side.
Well, before we do that, I just wanted to kind of give Tom a little bit of shout out. He has a channel on YouTube as well, so he has a big following on Instagram, and he has also a YouTube channel. And the last video that he posted about just kind of like the current market, a little bit about some facts and data science behind everything, and it was quite interesting. So shout out to you there, Tom. That was an awesome video. I would say, if I would give anybody any advice tonight, just watch that video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We can go through a little bit of that. Like, that's the current state of what I've been doing. We can also start off with a little bit of just where I started.
Okay.
Like, give you guys a quick little rundown of a Comic-Con panel.
Yeah, that'd be
So
awesome.
you can kind of see like how it's grown and how much data science I try to get people to listen to, but in like fun ways that they can go with. So if I can like share my screen,
can you share it? Hold on.
It's giving me the option. I don't know what it's going to do to our placement.
Nope, you're good. I'm going to just do this here.
Awesome. All right. So my go-to Marvel panel, I call it Avengers, Algorithms, and Analytics. So the last time I presented this was at MegaCon in Orlando. It's MegaCon's not the largest Comic-Con in Florida. I think Miami, Fort Lauderdale does a larger one just by size, but it's definitely most recognizable. So it's actually owned. Its parent company is Fan Expo, Josh. So
yeah,
Fan Expo runs this one. They run the one in Toronto. So when you were saying the name of yours in Salt Lake City, I was like, okay, maybe that is a possibility for me to present there.
Dude, that would be sick.
Because how the process works is they reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love to have you again. And they list the cities. And so that's where Atlanta and New Orleans is coming into play. They're all the same parent company.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So all throughout the deck, I try to throw in shout outs to my kids, my family. So throw in Spider Gwen, even when it doesn't make any sense. But so, normal introductions. I try to already set the playing field. Just let them know what they're getting into is using the Infinity Gauntlet. So we're going to give it to a data scientist and start thinking of the time stone in your head. What's that used for analytics? reality Power Stone. Marvel Rapid Fire, Marvel trading cards, and then Game Time, where we actually give away trading cards. Try to tell them, stay to the end. Please stay to the end.
Stay to the end. What's up, Squish Rips?
And we push the Instagram page, other channels like that. Hey, we're here, we're everywhere. This presentation, some background around it is I actually did this for work. My job wanted me to try to sell a Power BI dashboard to a banking client. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have some fun with it. So every little tab and analysis, I lined it up to infinity stones. And, so time stone forecasting, you have all your historic data. You can predict the future, combine that with the power stone to knock out outliers. At the end of it, we're going to change reality and hopefully convince the client to buy into it. So I pitch it to my executive team and they go, hell no. You're gonna take away all this Marvel stuff. And I'm like, okay, easy enough. Then the next day, the client's on site. They're doing introductions. They come by my desk, and I have not the Infinity Gauntlet Legends that I have on display, but like a little bank that I cut out at the bottom that coworkers can wear it. And they take it and they're just like, oh, this is so awesome. Can we get a photo with it? And then the same people that shot me down are just like, oh, wait till you see his presentation tomorrow. You're going to love it. And he's going to bring in an even better gauntlet. So I had to bring in the legends and do the whole thing, but they loved it. So
then just real quick, your company probably yeah, so about that, Tom, you can use that presentation now.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. And we were talking mostly about Marvel in the presentation. Like they were really into it and then asking oh, can you're really good with analogies, metaphors. Who would you say which Marvel character are you? I was like, probably personality wise, closer to Spider-Man. Analytics, they don't want us to talk. We say something, it's like, no, be quiet.
They were feeding you, and you're like, yeah, give you whatever you want.
Yeah. So keep in mind, I have my bosses left and right flanking me, and my sales team too, and so I'm having to give characters to them, and nonchalantly poking fun at them, oh yeah, this guy's the Hulk right next to me. He's like a big builder. The sales department, I call them Shield. They have to come in and restrain us when it's something we can't commit to. Make me do presentations. Yeah. So then we start going into, in this deck, different uses of it, where we start going into, here's a regression model, trying to find the impact of different variables in an MCU movie. So think about different actors, what stage in its trilogy it is, how close in recency to another movie it is. Just try to see okay, what's really successful in the MCU. Another one that I showed them is how you can actually get to those fun questions of who would win in a fight. Hey, Hulk, or just pick somebody else. And obviously you're thinking Hulk, but
but if you say Wolverine, it's definitely gonna be Wolverine.
There's a fun element you have to try to control for, which is comic book logic. So that's where Twitter polls come into play. Different data you can throw in to build a logistic regression propensity model.
And yes, Jeff, you're gonna have to take some notes. You have a pop quiz at the end, Jeff.
There is gonna be a quiz at the end. Yeah.
I already lost the crowd, and so so I show them, we rebalance it, and then here's who's closest to each other. And when I started the presentation, it's I pitched them I'm going to convince to you that Howard the Duck and Wolverine are more like each other than you think they are. And then the little twist is it's Howard the Duck in his big mech suit and old man Logan who's dying. But like statistically, they're close to each other. So rapid fire, like really quick analytics metaphors, just trying to show people that you're actually interacting with data science more than you think you are, more than you'd like to think. Like, oh, giving out your information. This is probably what people are doing with. But also, a fun way to look at it, if you understand the concept of the Spider-Verse, you probably understand a random forest model, which is just running several different models, different variations, but
What
at
Doctor
the
Strange is doing.
core,
Yep.
yeah, at the core of it, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Great power, great responsibility is the key.
So let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
With all this data that you've been able to gather, MCU related and whatnot, how is there a connection for our viewers out there so that they can, maybe if it's not layman terms for them, but how does it all tie in to, like, collecting Marvel cards? Should they collect a certain character based on movies, based on analytics, kind of like bring it all together for us?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
like
I
you know
just
the next section of the deck, Alex. Hold on.
Okay. I'm there we go. There we go. Get
oh
to the
yeah.
juicy stuff.
So just before you move on to that there, Tom,
Yeah.
I do want to say I had to watch the video like twice to
Yeah.
really understand what everything, and I still didn't get it all, but it was better the second time. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. Now you're like, now I can pass a stats course.
I didn't say I'd pass it. I just
You just said you were getting it
yeah,
you get in the range.
with a D minus.
like a CD, yeah, a
Yeah.
C, a D, something like that.
Yeah. So then how we tie it back to Marvel cards is I leverage the propensity model and some causal time series, right? So what I'm talking about that is like, okay, MCU event happens. I like to think of them as marketing events, unfortunately, right? Because that's really what they are. Sell more popcorn, get more people out there, keep them in the seats. But so what you can do with that is actually see pre and post periods. So it's like running almost an A/B test. You look at different events. So Spider-Man No Way Home, this was the trailer when I did this analysis. So you saw like a 29% bump in the average sold price. Some don't always have that uplift, right? And then we also look at it the next 30 days to see what has that good stickiness, or when like the impact of a trailer versus a movie ends. So this slide shows there's a lot of science behind it, behind the smart art that I threw into it. So different models, testing for different variables that jump into play. Now, the propensity model gives me a score where I can balance Marvel heroes. Like that was earlier in the deck to show like who statistically like each other. But what you can use that for is like, okay, you're not showing me incrementality if you're just saying, hey, Marvel movie happened, sales went up. Like, what's the true lift? So at the time, Daredevil was not technically in the MCU. So if I ran this again, I wouldn't be comparing Loki to Daredevil. But
Nice.
you can get closer to like, okay, here's more incremental lift. Unfortunately, what incremental lift also does when you introduce a control is it lowers your lift, but it's more like a realistic number. It's like the top half of the screen is if you didn't apply a control group, talked about incrementality, everything's going to the moon. Like buy everything, buy every base card, buy
Yeah.
heck, buy Impel. I like ragging on Impel. but then when you control for it, that lift goes from 14% to 2%. And then you get the idea, right? It's a subset of cards that are really rare and scarce that's driving it. Different characters. Wolverine.
So bringing up scarcity and rarity, obviously the numbered stuff, right? The lesser printed stuff out there, cards that are maybe lower pop. I mean, like Marvel Madness said last week with pop counts with PSA. Obviously that makes a difference as far as value, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that I'm actually partnering up with. Oh man, I'm gonna get their name wrong. Gem Mint Rate. I'm not sure if
Oh
everyone's
yeah,
familiar
yeah,
with them. So they're gonna give me a monthly data feed. We're still working on the output and the structure of it, so I can test like what's the correlation with pop and sales. So
yeah. And
Very nice.
I think uh, I think you'll surprisingly see that the graded PSA 10s, they're they're gonna have some solid pricing, some solid prices for sure. Um, is my thought.
yeah, and it's also some characters are probably pop proof, right? Like you see
Yeah,
it in TCG all the time. Like it's printed through the roof. Pops are insanely high. And Don Diego did a reel about I think it was an Umbreon card where it's like, oh, it's in this rare historic state
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
the pop's over 1,000 and the
Yep,
price is this, and
yep.
it's just
I remember seeing that.
what's the
Yeah,
demand?
I think the pandemic when that happened and PSA had all those cards and the majority of them were Pokemon, right? And they all of a sudden came back at the same time. The pop counts exploded. Those cards were basically worth nothing at that point, and unfortunately, there was a lot of upset collectors out there that sent in their Pokemon cards that wanted them back a lot sooner.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So definitely,
that's when the number of Charizards went up too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
have a lot of buddies that submitted bulk when it was what $12 or $8 a card, something like that, something crazy, and their cards were worth pennies on the dollar at that point.
So Swiss Trips came in real quick. What am I looking at? Well, look up. Just go ahead and go to Pancake Analytics on
yeah.
YouTube and watch his last video, and then watch this video again after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pop quiz time for Swiss Rips. You
Yeah.
came just in time, but
we got
9.9
9.9
newsstand. What's up,
newsstands
buddy?
in the house.
yeah. So
Welcome
obviously
aboard, my
these
friend.
are much longer presentations than like the 2-minute walkthrough. It's like a 45-minute panel with a Q&A session afterwards. And what I try to put out there now for just casual collectors is on my website, no paywall, everything's free, is you get a predictive forecast. It's a Holt Winters model, triple exponential smoothing. Anything that has seasonality or a trend to, it's very accurate in predicting it. Um, when we get to the Marvel section, I had to force it to be less accurate to actually be more predictive. And we'll go into that a little bit after I'm done with this spiel on this. But I put some, walkthrough guidelines. I try to update these monthly. And once again, it's saying like, hey, don't do this or don't do that. But just if you're curious about it, because you got a lot of apps out there that just are being like descriptive, telling you it's raining when it's raining. I try to give you at least a 3-month outlook where it's like, okay, you can see there will be some growth, some dips, seasonal indexes. Some people like to call them like liquidity charts. I call them like buy and sell opportunities if that's what you're going for. So, but
How close do you think? How close have you got to getting this pretty much nailed in and locked in? I mean, I know that nothing's
I
predictable.
nailed it. Yeah, I nailed it in. I think it was almost 2 years ago. I did it for Pokemon, and so I got the parameters I like to play with. And at the time, it was the hype. I was on a podcast. I think it was a Pokey Gal podcast. She asked me to be on, and she wanted to talk a little bit about the analytics and like if I'm predicting like a dip or anything. And I told her like, yeah, I walked her through a deck, my model said, oh, the dip's gonna happen in this month. And she was like, no way. She's like, Celebrations is coming out, like a really hyped set. And I was like, we're not going to get into like causality, but it's
Right.
like based off historics and the recent trend, the dip is coming. And
So
more
for
dips.
those out there listening, make sure that you guys follow Pancake Analytics because he's going to tell you when to buy the dip.
That's the positive side of it, right?
Yeah. I do want to add though, like with with what he has put together for the last couple of years, and I would say his last, I don't know how long it would take, but just his career and knowing analytics and doing what he does, and then putting that together, that was a big deal. And like with this whole him thrown into Marvel and all that stuff, Marvel's even more confusing because you got the MCU movies in part of it too, in giving you like open speculation on some things when movies come out or when movies are forecasted and all that stuff. And then now you're talking about throwing in PSA 10 or high grade from
Mm-hmm.
BGS or whatever graded card company you're talking about. There's a lot of different factors to put into that.
Yeah, I was apprehensive about getting into like Marvel Analytics at first, the trading card side. I think I was on Gingy's podcast, and he was asking if I was going to do like anything more. And the reason why I was apprehensive about it is it's hard to take my own biases out of what I collect.
Yeah.
Where it's like, like the rich history I have with comics and the relationship of going to Comic Cons. It's like it was hard for me to think like, all right, can I not put the silver lining on a cloud? Like, can I actually call it like it is? And so I just stuck to the guns and like, okay, it worked in this category. Let me just stay to, education when I'm trained in. I do this for a living. Like, I can cry in private when I don't like the results.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that.
here's some news for you real quick.
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Marvel Madness. Okay, so here's some news that I heard this week that Taylor Swift might be playing Dazzler in Deadpool 3. Looks like Ryan Reynolds is after Taylor Swift to play Dazzler. Hey, listen, it was out there, and everybody's rushing to pick up the first Dazzler appearance in a comic, right? And obviously the Silk news was confirmed as well. So those type of speculations that are there obviously spike things, and people just start racing with the FOMO and start, the interest is all there,
So
right?
before we get any take on Tom's opinions on this, I want to actually go back a little bit when I messaged Tom and I was like adamant on when is Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, and he said it's not a matter. I was like, is Hugh Jackman ever going to come back? Is what I said. He's
Yeah,
like, it's not a matter of if, it's actually a matter of when,
yeah,
because he knew it was going to happen somehow. So
yeah. I'm pretty on the inside of it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. So my take on like Dazzler being cast, like they've been talking about it for years now. Now is she going to be like a recast of the Dazzler from Dark Phoenix?
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good
And are
question.
we gonna get a Deadpool / Wolverine kills the Fox universe story? And it's like you're stacked up on all these Dazzler cards, and she's not coming back.
Right.
Like Taylor Swift was like just a quick kill off
It was
cameo.
a cameo, and she gets her head cut off.
Yeah, but my wife always nugs me about how much I research on the MCU, and she's like, "It can't be fun, like to you to watch these movies." I was like, "I still enjoy them, but
Yeah, it's entertainment.
it's like, it's out there. It's readily available. Just with a Hugh Jackman, like there was something they couldn't get to D23. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like on Ryan Reynolds' part, but they were going to have him announce it at D23. Like that was hinted at, like after San Diego Comic-Con happened.
Well, he said something about how I think they stopped him or something. It sounded like when he was talking on his different social media accounts and all that stuff, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So we got 2 questions here I want to get to before we move forward.
Yeah.
And first one's Vintage Lord Dan. The main
I
question
like
I have
that
is
question.
when is Wolverine going to take over Spider-Man for the #1 spot in Marvel? He's thinking 2 or 3 years. What do you think, Pancake?
We talking from a sales point of view or just like general, like I know Wolverine versus I know Spider-Man? I mean, Disney's not pushing him anywhere, unfortunately. Like I've seen his toy pop up at the theme parks. Like they have a talking interactive one.
Wolverine or a Spider-Man?
Wolverine.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Now,
I think
if he pops up in Spidey and his amazing friends, then like, yeah.
Well, I think one big
Junior
thing
Wolverine.
is this, right? Is there's one character that can be, I guess, compared to as an everyday person would be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, it's not every day you meet someone with claws. Like he wasn't bit by a spider, Anybody can be bit by a radioactive spider. But but Wolverine was just he is what he is because he is. So
let's see how his video game does first.
Yeah.
Like if they'll nail that out of the park, then it's like, okay, there's your next gen of Wolverine fans.
Oh yeah.
I think definitely the movie Deadpool 3, once it does come out, I mean, it will put some limelight on the X-Men and on Wolverine for sure. And I'm sure we'll see spikes on that every once in a while on certain things. And for me, I don't necessarily want everybody to know that he's number one. He's always number one for me, but
Marvel Madness is terrified if he jumps up to 1 because that'll be the last day he picks up a Wolverine card. No, I think the marketing side of the game that you just mentioned, that PlayStation game, if they get that right and put it out right before the movie comes out, I think the hype and all that stuff together, they put the movie and the game at the same time, I think that would sell lots of copies. Jeff has a question here. When is his Mutants 98 going back up? First appearance of Deadpool.
That boat, that ship has sailed probably.
Yeah.
It goes back to like the speculative conversations we've been having. It's like that's what like looking at the MCU impact so much has always led to is like, okay, you can understand the speculative buys in Terra Peak. It's like, okay, X amount of months or week before like a trailer is going to drop or a movie's going to drop, but then it tails off pretty quickly. Yeah, I tried to highlight that. I think it was when Hawkeye came out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I just showed like a couple of Terra Peak searches and just like, oh, look, here's the announcement stage, people getting excited, and then the season starts. And can't really move it.
Yeah, and I mean these charts are amazing, right, Tom? I mean these charts are amazing for sellers and buyers out there. I mean collectors, they're going to be collectors and they're just going to hold on. They're not going to really care about the ups and downs because it's their PC, right? But for those out there that really want to get ahead of the game and sell at the right time and buy at the right time, this is some great information. So
yeah, I'm hoping to expand it to character indexes as well. So I built all these off of card ladders indexes. Just they've been pretty transparent on what they throw into the data, what they don't. I'm actually working with them. They reached out to me. I'm going to be doing a TCG index for them. We had one of our first meetings, and it's all statistically based, no biases. It covers 5 different sets. Right now, they're in the stages of like, okay, they got to start gathering the data to get it in there because I picked a lot of cards that they're not currently tracking. Some sets too, but just trying to be as representative of TCG as we can get. They haven't reached out about Marvel or anything like that, but
Yeah.
they're already tracking some of that to an extent. But character indexes would be good, because a lot of these, that's like your segmentation in data. It's like, okay, what happens with Spider-Man probably drives a lot of this, and necessarily what's happening to Spider-Man doesn't affect Wolverine and vice versa. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to agree with you there for a little bit, but I have talked to quite a few comic guys lately, and believe it or not, they're just a little tired of Spider-Man. They want something new. They want something more fresh. I think for the younger crowd out there, Miles Morales is probably going to end up being the new Spider-Man in the near future.
yeah, my son loves him.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he knows him as Spin, thanks to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Spin.
Oh yeah, I mean, once his stuff comes out, his second movie comes out, and that the love attraction of Spider-Gwen and him and future movies. I mean, I'm hoping they might bring him into the MCU, but who knows? I'm not sure about rights and how that works with that character, but
Yeah,
My 6-year-old, he picked up a Miles Morales 10 with those 12-inch figures, and I was like, "Don't you want the regular Spidey?" He's like, "No, I want Miles Morales." That's what he said. It's funny.
yeah, I think there's a lot of Miles fans out there, and I think that either he'll surpass Spider-Man or be neck and neck with him. I mean, look at it, what his card values are doing, and his first appearance is already, was 3,000 at one point. Now it's down to about 2,000. But I think it's going back up once that movie comes out or the next trailer comes out for that movie.
Yeah, so just highlighting all the other analysis I've done. You can always click into them. Sometimes it's Comic-Con recaps. Other times it's deeper analysis, but got the Avengers panel up there. Some white papers that I've written and had to present at regional, global conventions. This was a white paper, MBA. So no correlation to cards. I didn't go into that route, but it was just how to level set the playing field, like bucketing players by how they score on the court. So
with video games, huh?
stuff. Yeah.
With,
so this one was
video
actually
games.
just this was just the NBA data itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that triggered a lot of conversations and other opportunities.
Sure.
For me, but
I think chat wants you to do some sort of analysis on the type of suit that Wolverine's going to wear in Deadpool 3.
when I've gone like that obscure route, I'll stop screen sharing for now.
Yeah.
I've gotten like people giving feedback thinking like I'm serious. Like I did it was like a survival raid at Hogwarts, and like we're just trying to have fun. It's like it does a likelihood decision tree, and somebody commented like, "Oh my goodness!" Like rolled their eyes, like you sound like my husband who has like a Star Wars sentiment analysis thing he goes off on. It's like, cool, let's exchange numbers. Let me get the know. But it's just all in fun, right? Like this isn't my job. So
Yeah.
This is to keep me sane from my job, which is trying to get you to spend money on your credit card.
Hey, and it's great.
Hey, and boy, is it fun.
Heck yeah, it is. Hey, Tom. Have you what kind of things do you pick up in your personal collection?
Yeah. So I try to get what my kids like, right? So my son Luke, who's named after Luke Skywalker, he's really into Super Mario at this point. Super Mario, uh, Ultimate Spider-Man he likes. He likes Toy Story. But I also try to pick up a bunch of Luke Skywalkers as much as I can, his namesake. And like how I mentioned earlier, like in our side conversation, like usually I come off as like spammy to people. Like I was talking to an eBay seller in the UK, and I picked up a number to 25 Darth Vader reaching out and Empire Strikes Back, like letting him know that he's his father because it's got the dad and son on screen together. And the guy was like, "Look, the shipping's going to be more than what you paid for this." Like I got in like a complete your set auction. I was like, "Well, I'm just getting it for my son, who's named after Luke." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll hook you up." And then he just hooked me up with a stack of serial numbered like Luke's Skywalkers.
Wow.
Like obviously before Star Wars started to pick up, I'm sure he's shooting himself in the foot.
And you still
There.
have them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Everything goes in the case. What you can't see with the chairs, I got a whole Star Wars section there.
Yeah, I mean, he gets in trouble sometimes. I think there was one time where Disney had the Disney Princess set, and his daughter
Had to have it.
all the
Yeah.
numbered cards and all the
Yeah,
inserts
so
and everything.
more context around that is like Josh tried to send me some on ePack, and he reached out to me and he was like, "Oh my goodness, like how much do you have?"
Yeah.
And that's just the ones I haven't transferred back home yet. But
Have
my
you
daughter,
seen the D23 Disney cards, the Lorcana or something like that?
yeah, and I've seen all the shilling around it too.
Holy smokes, my friend. Those
Yeah,
cars are going for thousands right now, but like you mentioned, probably a lot
yeah,
of
it's shilled,
shenanigans.
it's relisted. It's interesting. Like I do have the Mickey Mouse promo. That's the only
Mm-hmm.
one I have, but staying away from all the rest of it. There is some Disney from D23 not named Orkana that I picked up. They did a Disney hits set, so only 5,000 packs, and there's actually short prints in it. Picked up those. It was only at the convention. It was their first edition done by Rittenhouse. So Rittenhouse Disney set, and
Nice.
it's all the uh, chart-topping, Oscar-winning songs. So that was great. Natasha, who's named after the Black Widow. Um, we actually did name our kids after this. We picked out their names while at Epcot while we were dating. Like my wife is just as big of a geek as I am. I pick up for her Black Widow for her namesake. She's into Ghost Spider, so we pick up as much Spider Gwen as we can. I learned she does not like Gwenum though. Like I picked her up a Gwenum card from one of those Chinese TCG sets. Like, oh, this is cheap and fun. Maybe she'll like it. It's like a short print.
Nope.
And she associates it as Venom. And like, no, don't want that.
Want no
But
Venom
definitely
card.
Disney princesses for her. We got into the Weiss Schwartz Pixar set. I only ended up getting 2 boxes of that. Opened up one, kept one sealed. Then I picked up the short prints that the movies they like: Incredibles, Coco, Toy Story. But not going too crazy into it.
What about some comics? You picking up some comics or no?
Last comics I picked up was to do some same thing that Josh was talking about, like match with the cards.
Nice.
So I picked up a Makoko with the Scarlet Witch from the Weiss Schwartz set. A couple of those. Makoko's my favorite artist. So
nice.
We got the for my daughter the number to, I think it is 32 from that Flare set, Spider Gwen with her auto on it. That was like probably the first, like, I thought, like, should I be spending this much on a Spider Gwen that I don't know if my daughter's even gonna like her next week. And it was fun looking at that sale in the analytics apps. Cause like, yeah, that's my sale.
Are you that's the anime set, the Peach Momoko anime auto of Gwen? Is that the one you're talking about?
I think it was, yeah, the Flarium,
Okay.
that insert. Yeah.
That was
Nice.
the one from Flare
Yeah,
Flare
Flare, right?
2019, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Yep. I ended up picking a box of that too and ripped it. Bad idea. didn't get anything. So
Did you ever buy any 2020 anime?
yeah. I ended up picking up 2 boxes at a show in Hofstra. So Northeast. They called it the East Coast National, but it's not. It's nowhere near the national type level, but it was good. There was one guy who had just a bunch of non-sports, and he sold me 2 boxes for what the price of one box was going on eBay at the time.
Yeah, I've
Like,
seen those cards start to climb in value as of late, especially the autos that are numbered out of that set from Peach. Yeah.
Yeah, another guy had a whole binder of the autos.
Wow.
So I just picked up a bunch that way too.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's
it was
the
mostly
smarter way, right?
it was mostly a sports convention, and I was the one who was picking up like non-sports. And
And probably cleaning house.
my brother was having a good time with it. He's a basketball coach for FSU and big sports collector, and he's just like, oh, they actually had stuff for you this time. Because normally I just stick to like the dollar boxes if they don't have non-sports. Comic-Cons have actually been picking up with cards too lately. So a couple of sealed wax I've been able to pick up. Usually overpriced because it's Comic-Con, but
Yeah.
supplies are hard.
Yeah,
that's
but
been
you
go ahead.
can't.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
Sure.
if you pick them up at Comic-Con, you can at least say that. Oh, I got that. I bought that at a Comic-Con. That's more special to me.
Yeah.
Other than buying it on eBay, you know.
Yeah, eBay, it's like, I don't know if it's actually what I bought until I open it up. Wonder how much of my sealed collection is actually fake. Like, oh man.
Yeah, I've seen more and more sports card shows have Marvel. I know that Marvel Madness and I were at the Vegas show a couple months ago, and we were the main centerpiece for Marvel there. Everybody else was sports, but we had a lot of people coming by the case and taking a look at it and just curious, wanting some education on the cards. But like you just mentioned, you picked up those boxes at the Comic-Con. I'd like to see more Comic-Cons have more Marvel cards.
I would like to add though too, like before the economy kind of took a crapper too, you know.
Yeah.
Back in when we went to Dallas card show, me and a few guys, Marvel Guy 239 and Stacking Gems was out there, as well as Scandal cards and all that, and even Spidey went there. Few of us were out there, and that Dallas card show, all of us did really well because it was just like right as Marvel cards were getting like more of a pop. Great curator was like going mad, you know, and all that stuff with the Marvel. And so yeah, like I said, if the economy didn't take a crap, you know, like I think that card show would have been a lot better, even though it was good still. Some of us made good sales, but at the same time, I feel that Marvel just in general, it has just no way to go but up from when it is now down, so it's like
Right.
it's right now it's at the floor. Things are going to be steady type of thing. Good things will still sell for premium, whether it's like Spider-Man cards or whether it's Wolverine cards, those popular characters. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel this is still the tip of the iceberg. It's not we're not at the level yet where people can't be like, oh, I don't want to come into Marvel. Like it's too late. It's not too late now because there's a dip, and you always want to try to come in on the dips. So
Absolutely.
I do think you are seeing a couple like I don't want to say like uneducated, but it's like uneducated in like collecting coming in that are probably getting burnt in this dip right now. Like think about like Into the Spider-Verse set or the next like Upper Deck's releasing a bunch of MCU sets real soon. Like we're talking low risk, low reward type of sets. Like I don't think like we opened up 10 boxes of Into the Spider-Verse as a family, because everything was a hit for them. It was like, oh, Spider-Gwen, oh, Ultimate Spider-Man, oh,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Spider-Ham. Like it's like, and they're pulling up like dancing with the stickers and stuff. Like, oh, this is an ultra rare. It's like, okay, but like not really noticing that you get one per pack almost. But like imagine trying to recoup some of your money from that set. The auto list is such a huge range too. We ended up pulling three autos. Two of them was whoever voiced Kingpin's wife, and then a storyboard artist. Like the storyboard artist is like cool, right? Because it's Oscar-winning movie, but it's like it's got Miles Morales on the card. Like they'd rather have Shamik's auto on it. Like you can't move that if you're trying to move it. So
Yeah, it seems like that set was kind of becoming more of a filler set, right? Preparing for Fleer Ultra Avengers that's coming out pretty soon, hopefully, right? Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, I actually thought it would have been a good idea, and I don't know if they're still going to do that, but it would have been a great idea to make blasters out of these Spider-Verse ones. To put in the stores and all that, because I mean, that's really where
you could get there. Then
that's really why you want to make those sets. Is you want younger crowds to come in. It's not going to be for the major 40-plus-year-old 30-plus-year-old collector. Those Spider-Verse cards. They're not going to be major hits in them, but I think it is a great set to get to catch on, to grab somebody.
Yep. Vintage has a question for you. This is Pancake. What is your kid's opinion on Peter Porker? Do kids really like him?
Well, they call him Spider Pig, so they're like confusing their movie. That's the
Spider
Simpsons.
Pig.
I know. Yeah, I mean, to them, it's a hit, right? Because they think he's funny. They don't know the comics history about him, obviously. There is a little short film that they like to watch on YouTube. It's like a John Mulaney, and it's like how he got to the Spider-Verse movie. He's going up against like some lobster doctor. So they laugh at that, but it's still like it doesn't trump Spider-Man in their eyes. Like I'm not sure they even know that, he has Spider-Man's powers. And like they might just think it's a pig.
Well, I mean, what do they call him? Peter Porker, right? So Peter Porker's first cards are on Spider-Man Metal, right? So maybe a lot of people are after that specific card. Maybe not necessarily his next cards if he does have a next card, but maybe his first card might mean something, especially numbered.
Well, John Mulaney didn't sign for Into the Spider-Verse. So you can't like get a Spider Pig auto. Like it's nuts. Like I thought that set was gonna have this great like auto signing list. Like I'm happy that Haley signed. They made that work. But you didn't get you didn't get Nick Cage. He didn't sign. You didn't get Lieb Shriver.
Yeah. It's a good point. It's a great point. Swish says still more buzz and excitement today for cards than 10 years ago as a whole. I got to agree with that one. I think there's a lot more buzz now, obviously, than there was before. I mean, 10 years ago, what really was coming out in 2012, right? Right before 2013 came out. And maybe Marvel Madness can kind of, chime in here. When that set came out, were you collecting 2013 or did you catch 2013 a few years ago?
You talking about the retro inserts that I have?
Yeah.
From there?
Yeah.
So no, I actually wasn't collecting in 2013. I stopped. Just full disclosure, I stopped back in 96. Right as I didn't even remember 1996 Marvel Masterpieces. I picked up some 1996. I think they were X-Men. It was right after the 95 Chromium set of X-Men Flare Ultra X-Men, the Chromium set. Right after that, they made a set that went out to Walmart and all that stuff that was like non-chromium, but it was still Flare Ultra. And it was like some of the cards said 1996 on them. And that was the last set I remember even collecting at all. And then I just started dating girls and all that stuff. And then I saw some cards a while back for sale for like $30-$40 for those old school, box sets that are boxes that now are like $200, $300 that were, the 1994 masterpieces. And I saw some of the 1994 universe and all that stuff with all the holograms and stuff. I almost picked those up a while back for my kids, but when I showed them to my kids, they're like, "Are those your Marvel cards, Dad? We don't want any of those." And I'm like, or I would have pulled the trigger on it, and then I did not know there was modern sets until this whole pandemic happened. I'll be honest. I would have collected them though. That's the thing, but I was busy with life. I was into my career. I started into that, and there was, I went, I was just trying to figure out life in general and how to raise 5 kids, so I'm still trying to raise them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, same here. I got out in the late 90s myself, didn't come back in until probably about 3 years ago. And then all of a sudden I started finding out about all these Marvel sets that were back, 2013, 15, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah,
Yes,
that's cool.
I saw this pancake guy and I was like, what's this pancake guy?
Who's this guy?
All about. He was one of my first IG friends, I think.
Yeah.
So. Sweet.
Cool, man. Anything else that you want to cover tonight, Mr. Marvel Madness?
No, I mean, other than I don't know if if Pancake got done with his presentation or everybody fell back asleep. I don't know.
I've got just 40 more slides, guys. Stay till the end. There's the whole point.
There's that quiz, guys. Remember that quiz.
What I wanted to ask of you is maybe 5 minutes of wrap up on your whole type of why these are important in the hobby. If someone wanted to really look at the facts.
Yeah, so I can't do an anti-analytics rant. Yeah, I mean, so just why it's important is that, man, just think of quality of life ads. Is you don't want to be searching all this on your own. Like, it's important to research, right? But you can actually utilize others who've taken the time to, okay, here's some models, right? You don't have to go to school and get your degree, right? It's just here on the website. It'll help you, searching for comps or just get an idea of where the market's going in general. Just try to not make mistakes that so many have before. But at the same time, it's like you can also look at it. Here's the worst case scenario in some of these, right? I keep a lower confidence in these as well, where it's like, okay, here's worst case scenario. If you can live with that, then you're good, right? Like if it's not scenarios where like, oh, if your cards go to 0, that doesn't happen. But it's like, okay, here's how much I can recoup if I want to sell it now. And hopefully, we just expand it as we go, right? Character indexes, they're coming soon. Propensity model, I'm still trying to think of how to make it more usable, to where it's not like, great, I'm looking at 6 decimal places and everything starts with a 0. Like, what does any of this mean? A lot of tools, hopefully, for speculating. Everyone likes to speculate.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I want to add to that as far as that goes. The last video you did was great for anybody watching it. I actually was watching it, and in the middle of watching it, I was like, "Is this information is free? He's putting out?" Because, like, to me, it seemed like information that it seemed like others would at least try to capitalize on. Not saying that you didn't try or you're not trying. It's more so you want to show the hobby something that is going to be useful for them, and that's awesome. I just want to say that. So
no, thanks. Like that's so the first Comic Con I did was Toronto. Toronto Press was there in the audience, and they interviewed me afterwards. And one of the questions he asked was like, "And how are you monetizing this?" And I was like, "I'm not." And he's like, "What?"
what?
I was like, "I'm probably taking a loss. Like I pay for my own ticket, my
Yeah.
flight here." He's like, "Okay, well, you probably should think about that." And it's not something that's crossed my mind, because I think like when you try to monetize, and it's just you can't remove your biases that way. I'm blessed to have like a career that I enjoy, right? So obviously, maybe young 20s something year old Tom would answer this much differently. Like this would be trying to get started, right? Go, yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna monetize it. $5.99 a month just to log in. And then,
Yeah.
you want the wrap up to how this gets to trading cards? An extra $20.
Absolutely.
But
No,
I mean, like,
I wanted to
yeah.
add to what we were all talking about before we jump off, and for our viewers out there and who's listening, make sure, guys, we've all done it, but make sure, just like Pancake said, don't fall into that FOMO. Don't go into these valleys that we have right now and think that you have to grab everything that you see, because we all got burned from it. We don't want you guys getting burned from it. I mean, have fun with it, collect what you love, and yeah, let's just keep it at that. That way, everybody still has fun in the hobby.
Yeah, meaning that don't, i.e., do not take out a second mortgage just so you can cover your butt.
Just so that you can pick up an AF-15.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna. Yeah. What is that called when you're gonna just diversify? It's like, wait, so I'm losing all this money. I need to diversify my funds over here and lose out on that too. So
TBC breaks. He just wanted to let everybody know he has the answers to the quiz. Those are the answers right there, guys, for the quiz. TBC, crack the code. You guys want it? There you go.
hey, and Keith has something to say too. It says, Pancake, you need to find yourself a developer to make you an app. Sell it for 99 cents. I'm sure you've got spreadsheets and data for days. Having it one spot and reference is used for all. True that.
Jeff says my
Keith
brain
came
hurts.
late. He missed the whole not
It's okay.
monetizing
He'll rewatch.
He'll rewatch it. Jeff's brain hurts.
Jeff, yeah. It's like my brain hurts.
Good. Now he can't search eBay tonight.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Well, I hope what you've taken away from this, guys, tonight is we are just saying that Marvel cards currently right now, if you want to collect them, go ahead and collect them. But as far as investment purposes, make wise choices if you're looking at it. And just like Tom said, he's got some more models that'll come out that may help. And maybe even working with that mint, the mint partnership that he's dealing with for graded stuff. We can look at those too, but in the time being, just collect what you like to collect, and then what you don't like to collect after you get that, just sell it and buy what you like to collect.
Yeah, great point. Vintage wants to know one last question: if they're going to make another vibranium set.
I mean, my personal feelings on it, it was such a unique set, right? You got all the different stages of this fictional element, right? It's just maybe you get an insert in, like, if Wolverine gets his own set, like to line up with a movie or something. You know,
Well,
Good
and
point.
vibranium. So we know that the next Chrome set will be a Marvel Allure, which is going to be an MCU set. So that will next be the next Chromium set, which is actually going to be a cool set, I think. In looking at some of those inserts from Hockey Allure, but Vibranium 2 set would be phenomenal, but I don't see that coming out for a few years just because they've announced a bunch of stuff that we haven't even seen. There was a retro set that we haven't even seen that was announced, and then we still have actually 2 Marvel Masterpiece sets that were announced. One that's coming out next year, and then another one there's talks of.
2024.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, right now the attention I think right now is on this Spider-Verse, but I just don't think it's got a lot of traction, and I don't think it will.
No, it won't last.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those, you could say, annual sets where you're like, oh, there's another Marvel set out. You know, it's like, oh, I'll buy a box or two. And then you're like,
Yeah, I wouldn't pick it up at the prices they are now. Like, I got them first day pre-order opened up.
I did too. And I only bought one box, and I haven't even opened it yet. I've had it for a week and a half or whenever it came out. And I still am just looking at it.
Like,
Keep it sealed. Keep it sealed.
I'll probably open it and post it on my YouTube just for fun. So that's why I bought the box.
Maybe you'll get the Haley Auto in it.
So, well, great. Well, I don't want to keep everybody, and I want to try to keep these to an hour and a half. So, unless you have anything else in, I think we'll call it an evening. And I appreciate everybody joining us tonight for sure.
Yeah, no, I just want to also congratulate everybody that is on this show. I mean, we're making these shows every week, guys. We're putting some effort into it. We're excited about future episodes. So you guys know the drill. Make sure you slap the like, comment, help the algorithm. And let's all thank Tom for being on this show tonight. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, where can we find you, Tom?
Oh man, best place is IG,
Instagram.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he's got 30,000 followers, guys.
Yeah. You get a nice little pop every Comic-Con.
That is awesome.
So, most of my day when code's running, I can respond to people.
Yeah.
A lot of like weird analytics questions for things I didn't even think to look into, which is always fun.
I know one guy had one question about the beginning set. I think Marvel Beginnings is slated for the end of the year, but I don't think it'll come out at the end of the year. I think it's going to be first part of next year, but that's my thought. Because I think the next set that's going to be coming out is Allure.
Yeah. Yep.
So
should be the next set.
Yeah.
Yep. Pray for my bank account with Allure. I got Black Widow and a lot of fun color chasing in that.
Do you know if there's not going to be any autos in that, right?
Ooh, I think there is. I think a Cardboard Connection had some samples of them.
Well, no,
They sh-
of
they sh-
Black Widow, no.
Oh, of her? Oh,
Yeah.
no way. No way.
There wouldn't be. Yeah.
No. I'm surprised we got what was it? Some merch in the Black Widow set. I actually pulled one on EPAC.
That's
So
cool.
obviously it could have been like her stunt double.
Could have.
Hey guys. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk to you later, viewers.
Thanks, guys.